Yo, what's happening? How we doing? Welcome to show 386. 386. Today we're going to light your fuse on your dynamite stick, which is you, so that we can explore your limitations, how we can get them to the place that you want to be, right? How we can change the way that you see them. Let's get in and amongst it. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Boorman, and if you are coming through, please do let me know that you're coming through, even if you only watch a bit of the show. And to hit the love heart button, boom, 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 hit it a couple of times. And then I want you to comment down below in the comments as part of an exercise. And this is part of you improving you, is actually just doing some work with this. Like with any education, when you write down and you self-reflect and do the work, it allows you to actually get it outside of your head and actually think about it a little bit more. So I want you to put in the comments below, if you struggle with self-belief. Do you struggle with self-belief? Is it something that you are kind of plagued with? Is it something that is a bit of a inconsistency in your mentality and the things that you do and how you show up, right? You can write anything you want in there in terms of like answering that. And then if you know somebody that you think that might benefit from this, good to see you, Mark. Tag them in this so that they can watch it. We do this show Monday, Wednesday and Fridays from 5:30 for around 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes. Cool. So right now we're doing the Elite 5-Day Challenge, right? The Elite 5-Day Challenge. And the Elite 5-Day Challenge is a 5-day course that is currently free. Currently free. It's not going to be for much longer. Where we help men awaken, okay? How we help men, and very soon to be women, awaken themselves, okay? And when you wake up from the zombie world, from the rut, from the rat race, you can suddenly see a different type of world, right? I often think that the majority of us, sometimes we get sucked into this world, this dimension, where we're just walking around like zombies, or we're just so consumed with what's going on, we can only see a couple of meters in front of us, right? Our vision is only that, and we're not very aware. Which is why I asked you guys to write in the comments about, do you struggle with self-belief? Why do you struggle with self-belief? Because what it does is it triggers in your brain that need, that neurological need to actually write down and understand what you struggle with self-belief. How often, where else during the day would you do that? Now, when we go through life in that dimension, and we're going through it with a bit of a zombie mentality, our self-belief and our limitations are very limited. They're turbo limited, right? And because they are so self-limited, we only allow ourselves to achieve so much in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in a lifetime. You know, in a lifetime. And something to consider here is the limitations that you set yourself. You live in and amongst. You live within that, right? So you're almost putting a barrier, a restraint, handcuffs, straitjacket on yourself in terms of the life that you can lead, because you maybe don't believe that you can live a different type of life. Okay? And it's a powerful, it's a powerful an awareness. Got my words mixed up there. It's a powerful awareness, because what we realise is that we've been living to a limitation. I can only achieve this. It's like when we do a 5k or a 10k, and then someone suggests, oh, the next thing for you to do is a half marathon or maybe a marathon, and your instant reaction to that is, oh no, there's no way you wouldn't catch me doing that. No. So you straight away tell yourself that. You set yourself that limitation. Do you know what I mean? And it's only until you do it, you go, I can't believe I achieved that. I didn't think I had it in me. Like, you all have something in you that you probably don't realise. I always find it, there is this inner elite operator, right? In here, in heart, in head, that just hasn't been tapped into for many of you. in terms of reaching your potential. Okay, that's what we do within the elite movement, right? The elite movement, where we work with people, where we build people, where we create the growth mentality, where we build the elite standards. That's what our job is. Mine and my team's job is to elevate your belief, your limitations within our elite movement. Okay. And what we've got to do is ignite the fuse. Because when we ignite the fuse, man, we trigger that explosive nature within us to go, man, I'm going to tear my t-shirt off and I'm just going to get to work and I'm going to prove the world wrong and I'm going to live the life that I want to live, right? My limitation was always that I would never be able to get out the house that I was in. 2 years ago, we lived in a very small 3-bedroom terraced house. And the only thing I've ever wanted in life was to have a really nice big family home. That's it. I don't need nice cars. I don't need nice watches. I've worn the same coat for the last 4 years, which has run out of feathers. Like, I don't really buy myself much. But the only thing I ever really wanted was a really nice house. And I set the limitation that it couldn't be achieved, that I would never be able to afford it. Then something changed and I ignited that fuse. And I dared to actually believe that it could be possible. So what I ended up doing is visualizing it, creating a blueprint for it, and showing up to that blueprint with a mentor, with a coach. And that mentor and coach, he used his experience, his knowledge, his wisdom to help me get to the place that I want to be. And that's how we ignite that fuse. I know there's a guy on here called Peter Hartles, and I can't remember what year it was now. He's been with me for years, but I think it was probably about 2, maybe 3 years ago. We spoke in February. He had set a 6-month, it was February, and he set a goal that by October he was going to run 10 miles, right? I think he did his first 5 or 10K. He's like, right, yep, I'm going to do 10 miles by October. And I turned around to him and told him to book a marathon, 2020, there he is, 2020. And I told him to go away and book a marathon, right? And show what his limitation was all about. Okay, go and see what you're about. And he did, and he booked it, and he did the marathon. And that was just because we changed his belief system. Now, the belief system in here, if you think of your brain like a circuit, okay, and the way that your brain works, whatever you feed that circuit, it believes. Okay, so if the narrative in your story is, I'm not quite good enough, or, you know, it's really hard, or some other victim BS that you convince yourself that you're not good enough, then that's what the brain believes. But if you start feeding that circuit a different narrative, a different perspective, then what ends up happening is that we start focusing and elevating our standards, our actions, our disciplines, the way that we live our life very much differently. And the way that we do that is by being around the right people. When you're around the right people, you hear the right narrative, you hear the right momentum, the right communication, the right understanding, the right movement. When you have a good mentor and a coach, they're the ones that will call you out every time you're not doing what you want to do, right? And it's always like, hey, why aren't you doing what you said you were going to do? Accountability. Accountability keeps you connected all of the time to those high standards, to that self-belief. You've got to change the story all of the time. Because if the story is always, oh, I'm never good enough, then guess what you're going to be? You're never going to be good enough. And you're going to go through life like that. You've almost got to go, I am good enough to smash it. I'm good enough to smash it. I have no doubts that I can do my 100-miler in 4 months, whenever it is. Okay? Whether my body will get me there is a different thing, right? But in my head, I have utter belief that I can do it. Utter belief that I can go and do it. Okay? Back in 2017, I didn't have full belief, self-belief that I could write a book. But I did it and I smashed through it. When I smashed through it, I realised what my potential was. And the more we smash through this stuff, through the process, by creating outcomes, by finding 1% wins, by failing and learning, we build that inner belief. And every now and then the chimp will come along and go, nah, you're not good enough. But that's where you flick the switch inside of your head. You flick it quicker, bang, it comes back. And you recognise it and you keep showing up. But you've got to ignite the fuse. You've got to start the process. And every time I see somebody always coming up with, oh yeah, but it's hard, oh yeah, but this, oh yeah, but this, and oh yeah. It's just a story that you're telling yourself, man. That's your excuse. That's your story. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's this. Oh, find a way. Find a way. When life is hard. Life is very hard, but you've got to be harder. It's tough. You've got to be tougher. You've got to make sure you overcome every wall that comes your way. You find a way to get around it. That's how you do it. That's how you live a life. That's how you get out of a rut. That's how you make sense of what you're trying to achieve. Okay? That's how we move forwards. That's how we ignite the fire, the dynamite, ready for you to explode. Happy? If you don't work with us, and you do, and you want to, I'd love to work with you. I'd love you to bring you into our world. We're doing the Elite 28 Day next week. It's the second course of the year. Some of you will find a story or a reason not to do it. That's up to you. You'll continue down that road that you're on. But if you want to elevate your growth mentality, your standards, the way you show up, the way you lead yourself to lead people around you, details are on this post here somewhere. Get amongst it. Be part of the community. Change the narrative. Change the story. Change your life.